Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Dr. Tony McNeill here with another pop up conversation. And I am thrilled today to have a chance to talk to a dear friend of mine, Michelle Riley Jones of Washington, D.C., and also an artist that I have adored and loved since I was like in the sixth grade. So it is an honor and a privilege to host this live. And I am thrilled to have you join me this afternoon. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, folks. Let me know when you sign on. I would love to know who's watching. Type in your name, or your name will appear, duh. But type in where you're joining from, if you don't mind. I see. Oh, I see my friend Dewala Simmons Burke and the Winston-Salem State University Singing Rams at Winston-Salem State University in Winston-Salem. Welcome, Dewala. Uh, who else is out there watching? Just say hello to me as you're coming in, and type in where you're logging in from. Today's conversation is going to feature a talk with Michelle Riley Jones, who is the minister of worship, music and worship at Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church in Washington, D.C. And joining Michelle will be Grammy nominated pastor and recording artist WINTLEY Phipps. And I don't know how many of you, I'm sure a lot of you who are music connoisseurs, and especially connoisseurs of gospel music and Christian contemporary Christian music, know of WINTLEY Phipps. And it is great to have him and Michelle here. So feel free to share this live with those that are in your network or on your social media pages and platforms, to let your friends know that Dr. McNeill is on again with a pop-up conversation. And today we're going to be talking to Michelle Riley Jones, who is the minister of music and worship at Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church in D.C., and the award-winning WINTLEY Phipps. And I am so happy to have this honor. I am going to bring them both up as you all are coming in. Type in where you're joining from. I want to know who's on and where you're joining from. I'm going to bring them up to the stage so we can begin our time here. And then after we finish here, we're going to hop on Instagram and do the same thing. So yeah. I am excited. I'm going to bring Michelle up. Michelle Riley Jones, how
Hey
are you?
there. How are you doing, my friend, my old friend? How are you?
Yes, I am doing well. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for this opportunity to speak with you and
Absolutely.
with Pastor Phipps about this amazing concert that you are hosting, that you and your church are hosting in Washington, D.C. this coming weekend.
Yes, yes.
And I am going to bring our guest of honor to the stage as well. There he is, WINTLEY Phipps, everybody. Uh, Michelle, as I stated, is on staff at Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, and has been. How long have you been there, Michelle? Since
Well, I've been serving since 2003,
yeah,
but I joined the church in the mid 1990s, and I had the privilege of having Pastor WINTLEY Phipps marry my husband and I in 1995.
wow.
Mm,
Oh wow, wow, wow.
yes, yes,
What a blessing. What a
yes,
blessing.
absolutely.
Michelle has served in this capacity, as you heard, from since 2003,
Yes.
and also spends her time outside of Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, serving in such places with the National Symphony Orchestra as a community partner, and also she has collaborated with the Kennedy Center. And I have also known Michelle to be a writer, an editor, and an administrative genius, detail-oriented, and all of that stuff, which is a gift of hers. And she's also done some collaborative work with Dr. Leo Davis, who many of us know is the former minister of music at the Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church in Memphis. Gifted young lady. Thank you so much for being here. And our guest of honor, the WINTLEY A. Phipps pastor. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Yes. And as I was talking to Dr. WINTLEY in the green room earlier, I first met you when I was in the 6th grade, and my church music ministry was doing a Lonnie Wolf Christmas cantata called "Thou Shalt Call His Name." I remember that cantata. It was the first Christmas cantata or extended work I had ever played or sang in. And one of the songs in that cantata was More Than Wonderful. It was a duet. Yes. And I don't know if you and Sandy Patty were the voices on the.
No, that was my friend Larnell.
Okay. Larnell Harris. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it was during that time when that song was a hit that I stumbled across your ministry as well, and have followed you ever since. So it is great to finally meet you and have this opportunity to get to know you. Pastor Phipps is, like I said, no stranger to the Christian contemporary music scene and the gospel music scene. He was born and raised in Trinidad, and has attended Oakwood University in Huntsville, where he received a Bachelor's of Arts degree in theology. And he earned his Master's of Divinity degree from Andrews University in Michigan, and has been bestowed several honorary doctorate degrees, and is a renowned pastor and recording artist, motivational speaker. Man, he does it all. And I am thrilled to have this time with you, sir. So welcome to you both. And I'm excited to be a platform for what is about to happen at Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church this weekend, in the way of this celebration concert. So Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about the occasion that is bringing WINTLEY to Capitol Hill?
Certainly. So we are actually celebrating 50 years in the Capitol Hill area. And this coming weekend, we've been celebrating our homecoming weekend. And this Sabbath on November the 2nd, we're going to begin our day with another one of our former pastors who are going to lead our Sabbath school service that morning. But then at 11:30, we're going to welcome WINTLEY, who will preach for us. You've got to be in the house. And our music will be led by our Capitol Hill chorale under Dr. Lloyd Mallory. Then we're going to invite everyone back at 5 p.m. We're going to host a concert of Black sacred music with our chorale and featuring the musical worship of WINTLEY Phipps. It is a free concert. We want everyone to come out. Bring your family, bring your friends. You want to be in the house.
Absolutely. That is this Saturday.
Saturday.
And
November the 2nd.
5 o'clock.
The concert's at 5 p.m.
And it is free, everybody. Free. So I encourage everybody within a reasonable driving distance of the DMV, make sure that you make your way to Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church this Saturday to witness this concert. Pastor Phipps,
yes, sir.
What should people expect when they come to see this concert on Saturday?
Well, first of all, I got a bone to pick with you, telling me that you've been listening to me since 6th grade. Did you say 6th grade, man? Oh my goodness, that's with all that gray hair in your beard. You're telling me that? Oh, anyway. Hey, I don't have it because I shaved mine off. Right. But no, it's such an honor to meet you and to get to know you. I want to tell you a really quick experience I had some years ago. I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan at an Amway event at their corporate headquarters. And they said, there's a young man who wants to meet you. Would you be willing to? I said, sure, no problem. This young man comes up to me and says, sir, when I was 8 years old, my mother took me to one of your concerts, and I've never forgotten it. Wow. He said, as a matter of fact, you sang a song you had just written, and he began to tell me about a song that I had written and forgotten I had written.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he said, I'll never forget the lyric. He said the lyric was, God's love is brighter than the sun, sweeter than 1,000 roses.
Wow.
And heaven hasn't yet begun.
Wow.
Wow.
The young man was Marvin Sapp.
Okay.
So that's how long I've been around, okay? But yeah, we're looking forward to the concert. And I'm going to, it's going to be really, to me, one that I'm looking forward to with great excitement, because we're going to have a full string. And I love, my favorite kind of music really is a big orchestra and world rhythms.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So some of the music you'll hear is kind of like WINTLEY PHIPPS meets Lion King, because I'm going back to Africa on some of the things that I've written and really haven't released. So I'm going to be performing some things that I've written, recorded, and I haven't released yet. But it's my ode to and my respect to the continent of Africa that I've visited so many times, been to so many countries, from Nigeria to the Congo to Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Angola, Zambia, Kenya, and so I have a special love for the music of Africa.
Yeah.
And I'll be featuring some of that music at the program.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so excited, and an opportunity for folks to hear a wide range of music. I also want to honor your capacity to just minister across a wide spectrum of Christian music and non-Christian music. And that has been one of the things I have really admired about your ministry and the broad reach that you have. Can you say a little bit about your training and your capacity to do that, and what has influenced you in that way?
All right. Well, kind of put your seatbelt on, because I got some stuff for you. My voice changed when I was about 15 years old. I've been sounding like this, and this video of me sounding like this at 15.
Wow.
And but I didn't have any voice teachers. But I found my voice teacher on the radio. And as a 15-year-old kid, I would pick a microphone and practice sounding like this voice I heard coming over the radio. So for my wedding anniversary, I said to my wife, my voice teacher over the radio, I wonder if he's still in concert. And I Googled, and lo and behold, he was in concert. So I bought plane tickets and concert tickets, but something told me to send him a message. So I sent him an email. I said, sir, when I was 15, I didn't have any voice teachers. You became my voice teacher on the radio. You have been my musical inspiration, my musical North Star. And I want to tell you all I've gone on to do with that inspiration. And I told him how I was, I've sung for 7 of the last 8 presidents of the United States. Was the last one to sing Amazing Grace for Mother Teresa before she died. I was the only soloist at Diana Ross's wedding, for example, and I told him that I was the first gospel artist on Soul Train. You see me put my name in Soul Train, you see me with my fro and bell-bottom pants and everything. And I said, sir, I may not get to see you, but I want to thank you. I got an email back from him saying, Sir Tom Jones would like to see you and your wife when you come to Las Vegas.
Wow.
So when I walked into the green room, his eyes went really big because I said, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone, you know. But literally, that's how I learned to sing, was listening to Tom Jones. And I could not have found a better music teacher. This is a man is in his 80s and still sounded like he was back
it's true.
in the 70s, 60s and 70s, you know. And then you asked another question. I'll answer it as quickly as I can about when I started in gospel music back in the I guess the 70s, everything was still pretty segregated. You know, 70s are not far from the 60s, if you know what I mean. And so when you went into the record stores back then, you literally had a black section, black gospel music, and you had a white section, white gospel music. And for artists like myself who sounded trained, you know, my voice sounded like, you know, like it was trained. They didn't know where to put me. You know, they can't put me in the white section because I'm not white. And they can't put me with, you know, 5 Blind Boys of Alabama because that's not what I'm doing, you know. So I was always in this no man's land, but it was so segregated that I would still travel with the Hawkins and Shirley Caesar, and Jesse Jackson took me under his wings. And so I was still singing to black audiences with this sound. So I'll never forget, one day I was doing a concert with the Hawkins, and I went to use the restroom, and there were a couple of guys in the restroom, and they were talking. They didn't know who I was. And one guy said, hey, man, who's on this concert tonight? The other guy said, you know this guy, Phipps? And the other guy said, oh, yeah. Isn't that guy that does gospel opera? I'd never heard of that category before in my life, but he was trying to wrap his arms around what was coming out of my throat. So that's how long I've been around and doing this.
Yeah, your voice is unique in that it is a low voice, and a lot, you know, gospel music, it caters to higher singing voices. It just does. You know, especially in with choirs who are arranged soprano, alto, tenor. It favors the tenor voice. But to have a bass baritone, do you classify yourself as a bass or a baritone? What?
Yeah, I am a bass baritone, and I will tell you, I told you I might get a little controversial in your interview. Well, here it is. Back in the 70s, the music industry, with intentionality, began to move off of the music scene men who sounded like men when they sang. Strong, regal, low bass baritone voices were intentionally moved off the scene. Some of us are old enough to remember names like Billy Eckstine or you know, Paul Robeson. If I did You'll Never Find, you know, Lou Rawls singing low, or Barry White, but there are no bass baritone hip hop singers today. There are no bass baritone, not only soloists, not only in secular music, but neither in religious music. There are no bass baritone soloists. You know, I'm one of the few that's recording. And so, but it's given me a unique place in music. And when I get up to sing, I often see people sitting in shock because many of them are listening to a sound coming out of the body of a human being.
Yes.
they've never heard live.
Yeah.
They've never heard. I mean, you have to ask yourself, when was the last time you went to a concert to hear a bass baritone do a concert live?
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, and so God has given me a unique place, and then some of your audience would remember or may have seen a little video that I did on Amazing Grace with the Black Keys on the piano.
Little video. That's
Yeah.
60 million views.
Right.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, that's a little video.
Yeah, so, well, it's given me. I never thought that you know, but it kind of comes back to what you do too. You know, it's a little bit of teaching,
Yeah.
a little bit of theology,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit of music, and kind of wrapped in a teaching moment for not only us, but also for people who are not necessarily people of our paint job,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
people, but they get to be educated. Most of them will tell you, I never knew that most Negro spirituals were written on the pentatonic scale.
Right.
Well, a lot of Black people don't know that. You know, it's that the slaves didn't come to America with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, di, that. And it's always amazing to go to Africa and see the instruments that are built on that pentatonic scale, and to hear the music, and to realize that was what was brought over on those slave ships. And let me tell you one other thing. There are 12 million slaves taken from Africa. 10 million survived, 2 million died in the crossing. Of the 10 million, 7 million went to Brazil.
Wow.
Of that 10 million, get this, only 384,000 slaves made it to the United States of America.
Mm.
Of the 10 million, only 384,000 slaves from Africa were brought to America. All African Americans came from 384,000 slaves.
Wow.
But you can go to Brazil, you can go all through the Caribbean, you won't find the Negro spiritual in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You won't find it in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
There was something God did with the African American slave and the African American experience to produce the largest volume of music ever created by a race of slaves. And it moves me. It moves me, and that's why almost every album I've recorded, I've either recorded a Negro spiritual or written one. I've written a few spirituals, because I want to pay honor and tribute to those who left us this great legacy of music.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For those of you that are joining, I am here today with another pop-up conversation with Michelle Riley-Jones, who is the Minister of Music and Worship at Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church in Washington, D.C., and with the world-renowned WINTLEY PHIPPS. And WINTLEY was going to be presented in concert this Saturday, November 2nd at 5 o'clock at the Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church in Washington, D.C. And we've already alluded to this a little earlier, but for those that may be joining, that have joined late, Michelle, I'm going to come back to you. What can people expect? What can they expect to see, hear, and experience at this free concert with this world-renowned recording artist on Saturday?
Well, thanks again for just having us here. As I shared earlier, it is our 50th anniversary on Capitol Hill. And Pastor WINTLEY PHIPPS was a big part of that for 10 years. He joined us in 1985 and served as our senior pastor until 1995. So we have had this very foundational, very rich legacy of music at Capitol Hill, and that is going to be on display, if you will, in our worship experience on Sabbath at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We've asked him, you know, he laughs at us and calls us old people because, you know, we love the songs he did back from when he was in college to the music he's doing now. I said we can have 15, 20, 30 concerts of his music and really never get through it all. But he is going to be sharing music that God has gifted him with, some hymns. Of course, he's a prolific writer, and he is going to be sharing from his heart musically on Sabbath at 5 p.m. at Capitol Hill Church.
It's going to be wonderful. With an orchestra and choir, the chorale from the church, under the baton of the renowned Lloyd Mallory Jr.
Absolutely.
Who, is a friend and colleague and outstanding conductor. And so man, I wish I could be there to witness this. What about folks who might ask, is the concert going to be live streamed?
Be in the house. We want you in the house. We want you in the house. We are going to record it for to play back at a later date, but we want everyone in the house. That's where those showers of blessings are going to come, right in the house. You got to be there. You got to be there.
Good. I want to get back to you, Pastor Phipps. I have, like I said, been very, very intrigued with your ministry since I encountered you in the 6th grade. I mean, with you and Larnell Harris, you know, doing this kind of work with these low voices. And
Larnell was high.
He can get up there, yeah.
And he and I did. By the way, he and I did a duet together. Say again?
That you can too.
Well, thank you. But Larnell and I did a duet together. One of the only duets I've ever done with a man. It might be the only one. I've done duets with, you know, CC and Tremaine and you know, Jennifer Holliday and a bunch of other artists, female artists. But the only duet I've ever done with a man is Larnell. We sing from a cantata called Savior.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. An amazing thing. And he and I sing a song from the Garden of Eden, and he sings the part of Adam. I'm not Eve. That's all I'll tell you. So
well, even in your journey, I'm interested to know, as you have journeyed through the music industry in various contexts of worship, with different denominations and different kinds of people, have you experienced any episodes of racism and marginalization in the industry or in ministry? And if so, how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I would say mostly the marginalization that I dealt with was based on the vocal style. You know, because I liken what's in my throat to a battleship as opposed to a destroyer or a smaller ship. And with a smaller ship, you can make twists and turns and runs. But when you got a bass baritone, you got to set up a run. You know, you can't do all those twists and turns in the same way. And so sometimes you're not embraced as being up with the times because you're singing much more straight tones and you're not doing a lot of runs. And so, but let me tell you why I have been as blessed as I have been. Because, and remember, to share with you the opportunities that I've had in music, unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, first gospel artist on Soul Train. You know, where the first time they had to stop dancing and stand and listen to a gospel artist sing, you know. And I can tell you, you know, when the phone would ring and it said the family of Congressman John Lewis wants you to sing at the rotunda of the Capitol for his service, and you'll be doing 2 songs, and it's going to be covered simultaneously by CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. What gospel artist do you know gets those kinds of moments, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been blessed, and I give God all the glory. I've never had a manager. I've never had an agent. God has been my agent. But what I've been blessed also to have is the opportunity to move into all different kinds of denominations, all different, almost every denomination you can think of, and every different musical circle. You know, for 25 years, I traveled with Billy Graham. I sang with him for his crusade in Moscow, Russia. I'm singing How Great Thou Art with a 5,000 voice Russian choir.
Wow.
5,000 choir
Wow.
behind me, you know, that kind of thing. And at the same time, I get a chance to meet Pope John Paul II in Rome, you know. So it has gone the gamut of all different kinds of denominations. And the only difficulty for me has been trying to get people to understand that there is room for a bass baritone.
Absolutely. I want to just shout out just a couple of folks that are joining us that are in the chat. This is from my dear friend Walla Simmons Burke. I don't know if you remember her.
Oh yeah.
But she says that she worked with you in High Point and Greensboro Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah,
remember those times. She herself is an amazing choral conductor, and her choirs are outstanding. And there's another friend of mine, Sean Michael. He says he's heard great things about you through Kerwin Jones in Texas. And he said he'll be sharing Sabbath with them at Houston International, as well as we will have the vocals of Virtue performing in concert.
Great.
Yes. But those of you that are joining here with Michelle Riley Jones from Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, and renowned bass baritone recording artist WINTLEY Phipps, they are hosting a concert this Saturday at 5 o'clock, free of charge, at Capitol Hill Church in honor of the church's 50th anniversary. And Michelle, what are there any other events going on in honor of the celebration outside of the concert?
Yes, so actually we have a whole week of worship services. As a matter of fact, this evening we'll be in worship at 7 o'clock with one of our former pastors, Pastor Colin Brathwaite. On Friday evening, we'll be worshiping with the president of our conference of churches, Dr. Trevor Kinlock. On Sabbath in the morning, another one of our former pastors will begin our day in Sabbath school. Pastor Phipps will follow at 11:30, 5 p.m. the concert, and then on Sunday we have a gala in the afternoon. So it's going to be a full week of worship as well as fellowship, celebrating how God has led us these past 50 years, of which Pastor Phipps served for 10 years for our congregation, and really, just trying to reach the community of Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. is would be considered a daunting, task. Here we are, this African American congregation in a predominantly white community, And it's been really a joy to see how God placed him there to plant the initial vision of our role on the Hill. And while I didn't get a chance to serve in music under Pastor Phipps, when I thought back on, what did I learn as I just observed him pastor us, as I observed him in musical worship at Capitol Hill. And what came to my mind was God first. Put God first, he'll direct your paths, right? Put him first and foremost in everything that you do. So we really have been this light on the hill from the vision that he gave to Pastor Phipps, kind of setting that foundation for us. And then God has just taken it even higher over the last 50 years with our current pastor, Dr. McNeill, Dean Pillar, and God has blessed his leadership there on the Hill as well.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I want to congratulate you on the work that you have done and are doing at Capitol Hill. And women in authority, in ministry, and in the music industry as well, very rare.
Yeah.
And you do what you do well, Michelle.
Praise God.
I applaud you. I've always been a fan of your work.
Praise God.
I know this weekend is going to be extraordinary.
Be there. You got to be there.
Anything to do with it, I know it's been planned to a T.
Yeah.
So those of you that are in the DMV, if you know people in that area, please tell them about the concert. You can go to my Facebook page and see the flyer there. Feel free to tag folks and share that as well. I also see my friend and dear brother, Dr. Herbert Vincent Ricardo Piedro Jones.
I love it.
In the chat. And he says, Pastor Wintley has always been one of my vocal mentors, having grown up in the Berean SDA Church in Jackson, Mississippi, and the former Voices of Faith, Randolph Watson founder.
Yeah.
That name sound familiar? Randolph
Yes.
Watson? Yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. So, Pastor Wintley, we're about to wrap up here. Tell us what you're currently working on and how folks can connect with you and your ministry.
Well, I'm going to be prayerful as I share with you because we are and I'm not sure, there's a lot of rustling. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I don't know if you hear it as well. But, we are about to enter a new era of music. And how can I say it so that we'll kind of be ready for it? AI is taking over a lot of stuff. Artificial intelligence is taking over a lot of stuff. I've seen fighter pilots from Top Gun, fighter pilots in America. They put them to fight AI pilots in the cockpit.
Wow.
And human pilots can never win. One pilot said, I think it's because AI knows no fear. So it tries things and does maneuvers that we wouldn't think of trying. Think about it. Artificial intelligence knows no fear. Well, one of the most revealing videos I've ever seen, you'll find it on YouTube, Schubert's Unfinished Symphony. They gave it to AI to finish.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The work is amazing. It is glorious. The orchestration, not a live orchestra, but the orchestration is just epic. It's unbelievable. And for a long time, artists who wanted to have big sounds and big orchestral sounds. The music industry kept you out because you didn't have the money to pay for, National Symphony or some of the big symphony orchestras. That's about to change.
Yeah.
You're literally going to be able to say to an orchestra, an AI orchestra,
Wow.
I want this song in Bach style or Debussy style, and I want it in this key, at this tempo, in this arrangement, and you will be able to listen to gorgeous orchestration being created.
Wow.
Now, I know we can say, we can, fight against it all we want.
Yeah.
But it's there.
It's here.
It's not, you can't say it's coming. It's
here.
already here. It's already here. And it's going to get better as the years go on. So I am thinking that maybe one of my next projects will be, I'm going to say to the orchestra, this is the song, this is the key, this is the tempo. I want it symphonic, Debussy style.
Wow.
But I want I want Jamaican reggae. I wanted Bob Marley style. So you understand what I'm saying? You can be that crazy creative. Give me marry Bob Marley and Debussy. That's where so when you ask me what's next for me, or what's next, I think for the world in music, I think we're going to be facing that reality, and we can't run from it.
My goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
Powerful.
Folks, running down at the bottom of the screen is the website address to the church. And also, I want to share with you Pastor Phipps' social media stamp. His social media profile can be pulled up at the official WINTLEY PHIPPS. And he has a page here on Facebook and also on Instagram, which is where we're headed to next.
Yep.
And I just want to say thank you to both of you for joining me this afternoon. And we're getting ready to hop on over to Instagram and do this thing all over again for that crowd. For those of you that are watching this in real time or will come back to this as a playback, tell your friends about the concert. It is this Saturday, November 2nd, 5 o'clock at the Capitol Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church in Washington, D.C. Pastor WINTLEY PHIPPS in concert with the chorale from Capitol Hills Church under the direction of Lord Mallory Jr., as well as an orchestra. That's going to be phenomenal. And it's free, y'all.
And it's free.
It's free. It's free. In honor of the church's 50th anniversary. So come expecting a great time. It will not be live streamed. Okay. So you got to be there.
You got to be there.
Michelle did say it will be posted to social media at a later date for viewing. So, yeah. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to sign off now. And thank you, everybody, for joining and being a part of this pop-up session. Until next time, have a good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Pastor WINTLEY. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
And we will see each other in a few seconds.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.